Hello and good evening, friends, at those who support us at Skynet Studios, the Skynet channel. It's me again, Abu. So today I have a lot of stuff to digest, let me say. Especially we are in the election year. So one thing we all need to remember is that we are living through a period of a great challenge and changes. That's the fact. We are living in a world where lying has become the norm of everyday life and the truth no longer matters. As a country, the danger we are facing is not outside enemy, but one that has exaggerated by our leaders, especially Donald Trump. Our present reality has calls for a different model of speaking, one which connects us to our shared country and as humanity. Keeping America's culture war purely is not easy. Fight over question as fundamental as who counts as American and when does human life begin are not easily contained within the boundaries of the democratic process. Occasionally, people get killed. Sometimes oral taboo against resolving these disputes through force. That way you clear a path to death and destruction. Many Americans reasonably believe that people who are compelled to carry pregnancy to learn to term are not free. Through these Supreme Court appointments, Trump is personally responsible for the disbandment of reproductive rights as many part of the United States, although for he has disavowed all intentions of further restricting abortions at the federal level. He is nevertheless closely aligned with the movement that aims to do so, such as the Project 2025, as we are all aware what that document says. For those who are not viewed that document, please, you need to go back and look into that document and understand what it says. The question also before us that when Trump has promised to carry the largest deportation operation in American history, this policy will reportedly involve rounding up long-time U.S. residents, confining them to detention camps, and then deporting them. I think we tried this back in 1950s. The Japanese, we know what happened and how the kind of image that went to us in the world and the kind of outcome we all faced. Also, the question before us that we are asking ourselves whether Trump is threat to national security and threat to democracy. I think his threat to democracy does something which is valid if the other party is accusing him that because many Americans now see him as a threat to the democracy. So when you see a former president, somebody who was sworn to protect this country, when he goes out at the same time start policing or start praising a dictator, that has a lot of things to say. Nothing he attempted to block the peaceful transfer of power. That's one thing we all remember on January 6th, 2021, manipulating vote counts and also instigating riot to Capitol Hill. So this all these kind of plans where he's also planning to do some kind of retribution if he again re-elected. So those are some kind of sign and symptoms of a dictator. You don't have to look other ways to explain this thing because when somebody says I'm going to be a dictator on the first day, that explains a lot. So we need to be very careful and we need to be very serious about this election when we are going to that poll and casting our vote. So for those who have never lived under a dictatorship, just take an example of what's happening there in Russia today. Many people died. Those who tried to advocate for peace, equality, justice, where are they? They're all gone, either in the prison or they died. So that's the same thing because you cannot have freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Also, you cannot freely move around. You're always under constant surveillance. There's a lot of informant out there who are looking for them because if you say something, the next day either you disappear, you get killed, or you throw in prison. The other thing also we need to think about is also political persecution and imprisonment. That's the weapon they use all the time, and also economic hardship and inequality because dictators are always exacerbate economic disparities while a small elite enjoys privilege and wealth, the rest struggle and poverty always remain in that country. Lack of access to basic service and opportunities because dictators always prioritize maintaining power over the welfare of their citizens. As a result, essential services like healthcare, education, and infrastructure suffers. So think about this. Don't take whatever he says, but why just take few minutes and go back and look at Project 2025. I know he's trying to distance himself from this document, but he's also the chief architect because most of his former staff are responsible for putting together all those, and they say he's aware. He's aware, so that's his roadmap once he gets back to the White House. So before you cast your vote this November, this election, think about what's at stake. So think about the freedom you have today and what you will not have tomorrow. So I'm not gonna go over all of this information in front of me, but I'm gonna just go ahead and conclude here for today, then probably talk more about tomorrow, next day. So again, it's your vote. Think about before you cast that vote. Trump is threat to national security as well as threat to democracy. Period. There's no explanation. Thank you. And don't forget to subscribe.